You've got ideas, you've been trying to show up online because you have a vision for something you want to create, an impact that you're trying to make. And you have this idea that you're super excited about, but somehow it still feels unclear. Like you are circling around what you really want to say. So, in today's episode, I'm breaking down the three silent mistakes that keep creatives stuck, scattered, second guessing themselves online. And if you've been putting energy into content, but something still feels off, this is going to be your starting point. Hello, my love. Welcome to Brand Confidence for Creatives. Are you feeling stuck in a cycle of overthinking, trying to build your brand? I'm Eugenia, but you can call me E. I'm a marketing and brand coach. I spent years stuck in the cycle of researching, hesitating, and hiding until I got clear on my voice and my message. In this podcast, I'll guide you through the strategies you need to get clear on what you want to say, build a personal brand that actually feels like you, and create consistent magnetic marketing. If you've ever thought, I know I have something to say, I just don't know how to say it, then you are in the right place. So grab your coffee and let's dive in. Real quick, before we get into today's episode, I want to invite you to a free workshop I am hosting on May 26th. It's for creatives who feel stuck trying to figure out what their brand is really about, what they stand for, and how to say it in a way that feels clear, confident, and true to who they are. In just 45 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the first step to brand clarity, and that is your message. If you've been second guessing every idea, rewriting things over and over and over, or feeling like you can't quite explain what you do or why it matters or what is this vision that you have, this is going to help you so much because you're going to leave with so much clarity, confidence, and a way to talk about what you do clear to you and clear to other people. So go ahead and grab your spot for this workshop at brandclarityclass.com or tap the link in the show notes. I would love to see you there. Okay, let's rewind for a second because when I first started building my brand, I made some mistakes and I didn't realize that they were mistakes. When I first started my content creator journey, because yes, it took me so many years to go from, I'm just creating to I am building a business. At the time, I was just like creating. I was doing everything except admitting that I wanted this to be my career. I said things like, oh no, I just want to help people. I just want to inspire people. This is something fun. I'm just doing it for right now. But the truth is that I had big dreams. I just didn't want to say them out loud. I was afraid of sounding silly or being judged. And I thought that if I kept things casual, I wouldn't have to risk failing big time. But what I didn't realize was that by not admitting what I really wanted, I was actually keeping myself small. I was playing it safe, and I think people could feel that at the time. And the wild part is that I had so many years of experience with marketing, storytelling, performing. I had worked behind the scenes, in front of the camera, and I still didn't feel legit when it came to my brand. I don't even want to call it imposter syndrome because I think this was something else completely. At the time, I didn't connect the dots and I saw all of these parts of me as separate, all the experience I had as different things when really they were the foundation for everything I'm doing now. So today I'm walking you through these three silent mistakes that creatives make when they're building something meaningful. They're coming straight from my experience. They are huge mistakes beyond just fixing your subject line in an email and how to actually avoid these mistakes. So mistake number one is downplaying your vision. As I told you, I was building my brand, but I was treating it like a casual side project. And I downplayed my desires. I told myself and others that this was just for fun. And I was hoping that someone would discover me, quote unquote, right? Like someone would see me and just be like, oh, you're so talented. Here's this huge opportunity. And I was wearing this humble badge of honor or, I'm just going to let things flow. That was actually holding me back from getting clear and communicating that clarity because I was not fully 100% committed. So I was not arriving to 100% clarity. I kept kind of in this middle ground. So if you can relate to this, why is this happening? For the most part, you're probably hiding your real goals, even from yourself, because you're afraid of being seen, you're afraid of failing in public. And the thing is that staying in this place will cause you to miss opportunities. You're going to send mixed signals to potential collaborators, confuse your audience, confuse potential customers about what they can expect from you. Like you think you're being humble, but in reality, you are being confusing. So to overcome this mistake, I had to learn this truth that I need and you need, and we really need to be honest with ourselves about where we want to take our work. Even if we're not shouting it from the rooftops yet, I'm not telling you to go on Instagram and announce all your 5-year vision to everyone online, but you need to admit it out loud, even if it's just to yourself, ideally if it's to someone else. And especially, this is an extra bonus if you are embarking in a journey with a partnership or doing something with someone else. Both need to be aligned, because this is something that happened to me as a result of not owning or downplaying my vision, is that I embarked in projects with people that really were doing this as a hobby, as just for fun. And I was like, it's fine, it's okay, I'm just there with you. And when I tried to get more serious, there would be friction because they were on a different path for this project. So really, even before you're joining, or especially if you're joining forces with someone else, make sure that you're both aligned in where you see this going. That's going to make a huge difference. Mistake number 2 is discounting your background. And in my case, I had a strong background in marketing, performing, strategy, but I thought that didn't apply to my brand. I thought that I was this Batman persona, different during the day and changing into a cooler version of myself when I was created. And it was because I was treating my brand as this quote unquote side project, like a separate version of myself, instead of integrating everything and considering it a strength I could bring into my creative work. I really thought that those things were completely different and not something I could leverage to have a really strong and rooted and anchored personal brand. So the reason this is happening to you is because you don't feel extremely excited about your career or your past. Maybe you just went into a career because it was the right thing to do at the time, and then you had this revelation about something else you wanted to do, and you feel like what you did in the past wasn't that big, and you haven't really taken the time to recognize how your past connects you to your brand. And I see this all the time with many creatives that really discount what they did in their previous life because they didn't have their aha moment, or they weren't passionate, so they say or they think that it just doesn't matter. So if you're like me, this is why you're feeling so scattered and like you are starting from scratch, which is such a paralyzing place, because that feeling can be so overwhelming, because it feels like really you're starting from point zero. You have nothing. And that's not true. You probably are way further ahead and you haven't even realized it. So how do you fix this? You need to come to this truth that your experience is part of your message. It adds depth, it adds authority, it separates you from other people, other creatives, other entrepreneurs that might be doing something similar. And this brings so much confidence and closes this whole idea of the market being quote unquote saturated, because you are really creating a niche of one. And finally, mistake number 3 is believing that structure kills creativity. I thought that structure and creativity were two separate things. But when I combined my creativity with actual frameworks that came from my marketing experience, of course, I had to simplify things because I was not looking, I did not want to create a huge funnel with 72,000 tags, and I was building something different, but I had the frameworks and those foundational elements that really helped me add fuel to my creativity. That's when my brand finally clicked. Once I started applying real structure to my message and my content, that's when I started to feel free. I thought structure was going to keep me boxed in, but in reality, structure gave me so much freedom. And that's actually how the Clear framework was born. And I'm going to be teaching the first part of it inside the masterclass on May 26th. But just know, structure doesn't limit you. It unlocks your creativity. And the reason that you are feeling this pull that you have to choose between structure and creativity is because somewhere along the line, and probably that was back in school, we were told that structure and creativity couldn't coexist, that you are disorganized, that you are a mess, like you were put in one of two boxes. Or maybe you were told that you were organized and super type A, so you got in your head and you said, oh, I'm just not a creative person. And maybe you're just waking up now and you're saying, dang it, but I do feel this spark for creativity and I never thought I was creative. You don't have to choose one or the other. You don't have to choose either being creative or organized. And that's exactly the belief that keeps a lot of us circling ideas with just no direction, stuck in brainstorm mode, because we are never really moving forward. We are acting in accordance to an identity that someone gave us at some point of you are not organized enough or you are just too scattered. So we're just matching that identity that we had for so long, and it's super hard to even realize it. So as a consequence of this, you stay stuck in this flow mode where you're just trying to let things flow, you circle ideas, and you don't have a clear direction. And while I am a firm believer in letting ideas marinate, I also believe that this whole I'm going with the flow thing or idea is an excuse to keep you safe within a realm of what you think is complete freedom and no structure. So how do you break up this pattern? You need to accept the truth that structure and frameworks, they don't box you in. They really free you up to create with so much clarity. And they give you your time back because you don't waste time on things that are outside of the framework. At this point, you don't need more ideas. You need a way to organize the ones that you already have so that you can actually move forward. So if any of those mistakes sound familiar, remember they are fixable. Whether it's mistake number 1, downplaying your vision, mistake number 2, discounting your background, or mistake number 3, believing that structure kills creativity, it can be fixed because clarity isn't something you magically wake up one day with. It's something that you build intentionally. And that's exactly what we are going to start doing together inside the Get Clear on Your Brand workshop on May 26th. We'll walk through the first step. That's your messaging. That's your foundation. And I'm going to help you define who you're speaking to, what they need to hear, how to communicate your value with clarity, with confidence. So save your seat at brandclarityclass.com. I am so excited. Cannot wait to see you there. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you loved it, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to a friend who's also trying to grow their brand without losing themselves in the process. Remember that sharing is caring. Real talk, I used to overthink every post too. So if this episode gave you a little aha moment, just know you are not behind. You are building something real. See you back here soon for the next episode. Un beso.